Hello everybody, my name is buzzycombs and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Dinotopia. Today, I would like to bring my first aquatic dinosaur to the park, and that creature will be a Plesiosaurus. Now, I don't know what their group limit is, so I'm only going to make 4 of them, and unfortunately, I have not crafted a new culture vat since it broke, so I am going to have to do that. What I need to craft a new culture vat are 4 pieces of glass, 3 pieces of iron, a bucket of water, and a single drop of tar. And if I throw them all into this crafting table, we have ourselves a brand new culture vat. Yay! Now I can just set it right here, and I'm going to grab my leftover Plesiosaurus flesh, as well as some fresh milk, a couple of eggs, and some wheat. Then I'm going to trade for a little bit more Plesiosaurus flesh, and honestly, I want more than that, so I'm going to trade with my Fletcher for some more emeralds, and kind of satisfying enough, so I'll go with that. Now with all these lovely materials, I can craft myself... Wait. Aw, I was gonna craft myself bio goo, but you can't use fresh milk for it. Dang it! So really quickly, I'm just going to tediously and slowly milk apocalyptic milk until I've completely run out of Plesiosaurus flesh. And there we go, we now have 40 bio goo. So with this trusty, sticky goodness in my hands, we can now chuck it into the culture vat and start making ourselves some Plesiosauruses. And now I'm going to grab a bit of cobblestone, transform them into some simple pillars, and I'm also going to get myself some andesite as well as smooth stone. So what I think I'm going to do is transform the smooth stone into tiny brick bordered stone, which is the same material I've been using for my paths, but in stone. So if we put them next to each other, they're not crazily different in coloration, so I think we should be able to use it just fine for the enclosure without it being recognized as far too different. So my plan for my aquatic dinosaurs is to actually situate them in this river under the bridge. That way I don't have to dig out and fill in a huge space for them, and also they have some naturally spawning fish food. I'm pretty sure the Plesiosaurus is carnivorous or piscivorous, so that should be pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start lining up a wall, and I'm just going to place it like so for now. Now I'm going to pillar it up to the top. Now I just have to do the same on the other side. All right, these are all finished. Now we just have to make sure there are no mysterious caves in here. Nope, we're all good. The final touch I'd like to do is just start sprinkling a little bit of stone along the edges, like so, and then just make it a little bit deeper. And honestly, I believe 3 blocks deep should be enough room. Now I'm just going to start placing down some pillars and fences, that way nobody falls in. All right, and now that the exterior of the enclosure is finished, I'm going to dabble a little bit into the interior. Unfortunately, I don't really think there's much one can do to decorate an underwater enclosure, but I can use a little bit of bone meal to sprinkle in some seagrass. And I think one more thing to really spruce it up is to get some sea pickles. And as a matter of fact, I do have a coral reef nearby, so I just need to dive down into the ocean and see just how many pickles I can collect. And with the power bestowed to me by the mighty sea pickles, I can now add in some underwater lighting. And there we go, we've added all the pickles. Now the final thing I would like to do for the inside of the enclosure is craft a bubble blower. And to make a bubble blower, I need some gold and a bucket of water. And here we go. Wait, I was gonna make 12, but I need more buckets of water. Whoopsie. So really quickly, I'm going to make a couple more buckets, fill them with water, and make a couple more bubble blowers. And you know what? I think 5 should be good. Now I'm just going to sprinkle these throughout the enclosure. Oh, do they have to be in a wall? Okay. I'll put one right here. Wait, what? I don't understand. Where are the bubbles? How does it work? What if I put it right here? Huh? How do the bubble blowers work? Do they need a redstone signal? Is that what that red thing is? Okay, yep, I did a little bit of research and we do need ourselves a redstone signal. So I'm just going to craft a couple of redstone blocks and deploy some bubble blowers. Yes! So there's one, here's another, one here, another here, and then 2 more on this side. Now I just need to craft a feeder and start adding a pathway. Now along the edge of the enclosure, I think it'll be really cool to actually build a little underwater tunnel. That way guests are able to get a really cool look of the enclosure from below. So what I'm going to do is just dig down a staircase, then I'm going to add a little roof as I go, and then I'm going to add walls, of course. Now I'm going to add some pathways, and on the other side of the enclosure, I'm going to add another set of stairs. Now I'm going to fill in the underwater tunnel so I can get rid of all the water, and now I can clear it all out. Now I just need to light this place up and start adding the glass viewing areas. And with this incredible view now finished, we also have to do it on the other side. And just like that, the enclosure is now complete, which means it's time to bring in some Plesiosauruses. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I'm pretty sure if I just place them, yep, they immediately come to life. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just lay them all. Oh, they are so cute. So we got a male, another male, and one female. And of course, I'm just going to have to name the female Nessie because that just makes sense. And bam, she is now named Nessie. And if we squeeze down here, let's see how good the view is. Yep, they're there. We can see them. That is so cool. I'm so freaking happy with this enclosure. And if you guys have any name suggestions for the rest of my Plesiosauruses, please let me know in the comments down below. Oh my gosh, what is it doing? He's doing a little dance. Look at him. That is the cutest thing in the world. What are you up to? Oh, it's Nessie. What are you up to, little Nessie? Are you stuck? Are you confused? I don't know, but you're definitely jamming it out. Anyway, so now that we have our adorable new critters, the next thing I would like to do is actually add another bridge to the park. And more of this new addition to our pathways will be just over here in order to bridge the gap between our farmland and our cooking district. So what I'm going to do is situate it right here and just start bridging my way over. Now this bridge is going to be a little bit different from the one I have over near the Diplodocuses, and that is because the terrain is actually level, so we don't have a reason to do any cool arcing effects like we have over there. You know what I'm realizing? I think I should have just put the bridge right here instead of right here because it just lines up better. So I'm just going to get rid of this. That way our bridge actually brings us to the entrance of the farming district. So goodbye, my lovely diagonal bridge. You are useless now. Okay, the bridge has successfully been decimated, which means I can start rebuilding it over here. So right here, it does look like we're going to need a slight little slope downwards, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. And we can just quickly throw one together like so. Ta-da! Isn't that magnificent? I sure think so. And just like the other bridge, this will be supported by some stone pillars. Now, I just need to bring the pillars all the way down, then start adding in the gasite cobblestone. And so this is what the bridge is looking like so far. Now, I think it'll be really cool if we added a couple taller spires near the middle, and I think it'll be really cool to string up some fairy lights between the spires. And so, I'm going to need 8 strings of fairy lights, and to make fairy lights, I'm going to need 12 pieces of iron, plus 16 more, and so in total, I'm going to need 30 pieces of iron ingots. Unfortunately, however, I am only down to 2 iron. And so, in order to acquire exactly what I need, I'm going to have to hurry down to the very bottom of my mine shaft and go down my iron vein tunnel. Now, a good old while ago, I found myself a marvelous iron vein, and so now we are going to utilize it to do a little bit of mining. That way, I have the supplies to make my delectable fairy lights. Oh, and look at all of these raw iron blocks! How delicious! And so this should definitely be good for now. So now I'm just going to split these stacks in 2 and get smelting. And so I'm going to make some pink and white fairy lights and then merge them together on a string. Now I'm going to add some fence tips to these stone pillars, and I'm going to use these fences to string up the lights. And now that the lights are all strung up, it's time for us to take a peek from below and see how it looks. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. I may or may not have a thing for fairy lights if you haven't caught on already. Now that we have connected both sides to each other, I would actually like to start carving out a path for the farmland, because at the moment, the only thing separating each plot from each other is a little bit of grass, and I would like that to be more of a pathway. And so I'm just going to carve out a little bit of land to act as a path, and then replace it with coarse dirt. And with the pathway is now finished, I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of slabs. Now, the next thing I would like to do is finally get around to naming my Kongfus, who I totally did not forget about. And so, our lovely little female will be named Kiki, and our male, if I can find him. Oh, there he is. No, that's the female. Where's the male? Aha, there he is. He will be named Butter. And with my Kongfus finally named, the absolute final thing we are doing today is also in naming our hermit crab. And the hermit crab is going to be named Edgar, because it is glorious and he is an Edgar now. Wait a second, I was about to end my episode, but I see a little conundrum going on in my taco enclosure. Not only do we have a wandering trader, but also our tacos are all swarming over here. Wait, he looks angry. He looks very angry. Do not hurt me. Are you hungry? Are you out of food? No, he's got food in his system. Oh my gosh, his ball is stuck. The feeder's got food in it. Oh my gosh, are they all swarming the ball? What happens if I knock it down? Okay, only one goes for it. Two goes for it. Okay, well, somehow they got their ball on the tree. And for some reason, they're all swarming over here. So I don't quite know what's going on, but I don't want that one taco to murder me. So, yeah, this was an interesting situation. For some reason, they are all very upset and not happy, even though there's food right here. So I'm not sure what their deal is. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Minecraft Dinotopia, be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribe. And without further ado, thank you all so much again for watching, and I guess I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!